Afternoon. Should we just do the normal team news? We know there's no Romero for the Fulham game. Where's Dragusin? Is he ready to start? Anyone else in and out that you can tell us about? I know you've still got to train tomorrow.
Nothing changed from the Arsenal PSG game. Of course, a suspension to Kuti. Rad will not be able to start yet. Progressing, training. So that's status.
Anyone else close to coming back?
No.
You talked last night about the progress that your side made, that sort of attacking intent that you wanted to see. How much more do you think you'll know about the true progress of your side on Saturday against a Fulham team that's going to play a totally different way to PSG? You're going to have to go after them a bit.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. We are facing a completely different game on Saturday. A game where we hopefully will be more on the ball and need to how can you say open Fulham up. I think actually Fulham maybe they don't have the points they maybe want, but I've watched a lot of their games and watch even more now that they've performed well. I think they've been quite unlucky with some of the results. So that will be a different challenge, but that we up for. Looking forward to it. I'm happy, very happy I'm pleased that performance and response we got from the players against PSG. I think we did the aggressivity in the high pressure, the forwardness, the intensity we played with should have earned us a point or points against PSG, but a bit of randomness, to set piece goals we can't concede, and some game management did that we didn't, and that's the bit we need to learn from. We are said it from the beginning when I walked in the club. Every decision I take is to do everything I can to win the next game, but it's for the long run. If you can't build something that lasts, it doesn't matter. Very aware that I need to win tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, and the day after the day, and so on. But that's what it's all about. And I think football is extremely fascinating, and it's so complex that we all try to analyze and understand it. And if we look at Liverpool now, a manager Arne Slot I admire massively. Did fantastic stepping into the first season in the Premier League, won it, incredible in every way, and now they are struggling a bit, and they have a bad spell. I'm convinced he will find a way out of that. Convinced, but I don't think anyone have predicted that before we started the season. That's just sometimes football. But that's the thing we sometimes struggle to understand.
Yeah, do you think that's become more reactionary since when you started? Because you lose that game on Sunday and the narrative is really quite negative towards you. You go and put in a good performance in defeat last night, and suddenly that shifts again. Has it become very much more all or nothing? Because you're talking of Slot there, who's won a Premier League.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Arne is clearly an unbelievable coach. What he did with Feyenoord, how he stepped into Liverpool, incredible. So he will 1000% find a way out of that. And I don't know him personally, but he will stay calm, him and his coaching staff, and they find solution, and then we'll go again. And in football, some managers, some clubs are privileged not to have too many setbacks. Maybe it's just one game. Others have a big spell, or they have whatever, So yes, there will be setbacks, and how you handle them and come back from them is the key. And I agree with you that I think sometimes one game is like, oh, it's a disaster, it's over here, and then you're suddenly here. It's probably a little bit in between that. Maybe not the best coach in the world after we beat City away. Probably not the worst coach in the world after we lost the game. So that's just the way it is. It's how we build something over time.
I know you're always very calm and you don't get sucked into that narrative, but there must be the sense that given what happened on Sunday, and yes, it was better yesterday, but at home on a Saturday night where you haven't won since the Burnley game on the opening day, there's that sense that you have to, as a group, go out and deliver.
Yeah, of course. And I promise you, we will do everything we can to deliver, and we will do everything we can to come flying out, to be positive, intense, energetic, forward. But I'm also pretty sure that Fulham will do everything they can to avoid that. But it's our job to make sure that we perform. And if we perform well, we've got a very good chance to win the game.
Shall we?
Afternoon, Thomas. Just staying on that issue of the home form, I interviewed Brennan Johnson earlier on this week, and he said it's not so much of an issue from the players' point of view of feeling under pressure when they play at home, particularly in the Premier League, but he said perhaps the players overthink things and try and overplay because they really want to win at home. Is that something that you've noticed the players are doing, and how is that something that you can look to address?
No, I think any player, any team need to do what we can to play with confidence, and the best performances where you're just playing intuitive. You don't think about it, just you do what you do, and you before you receive the ball, you know that you need to take a touch forward, or you play forward, or you turn that way, or whatever you do. That's where you perform the best. So I think that's key. I'm fully aware that I said it from the beginning. It hasn't changed. I want our stadium, our home, to be a fortress, and to get there, we need to perform. We need to be the fans and us. It needs to be both together. It need to feel that when we play home, wow, this is it's impossible to beat us here, and that's what we need to work towards. We are not there yet, but that's what we need to work towards.
In terms of Brennan Johnson, it's just over 6 months since he scored the winning goal in the Europa League final. He did say that, look, not playing every week it is disappointing naturally, he said, but he completely trusts in yourself. And he said the training sessions during the week, because there's so much competition for places, they are really intense. How would you rate how he's developed this season and where he kind of fits into your attacking lineup?
Very aware that Brennan got some very good qualities. One of them is scoring goals. And running in behind and arriving in the box. I think I really like everything about him. Also scored goals this year as well, 4 I think in total. So I'm very aware of them. So it's all about how do we create that team where we perform, how we get the best players in, where do we play them? Is it Mo to the right? Is it Brent to the right? Who plays the 10? Do we play with what kind of type of player do we play in the different position to make it click? And then we also need that little bit of depth, because we play every third, fourth day, to keep the freshness, the energy. So that's the challenge.
And talking about players who's been scoring goals, Randall Colomuani did that against PSG. Is he fit enough though to start again against Fulham?
Yeah, he would be fit enough to start against Fulham again. I think he performed well. That was obviously his best performance, not only because of the 2 goals and the assist, but the whole performance, the pressing game, the energy, the touches. I like that from him in the game yesterday, and that's the as you say the challenge that we are facing, that we are embracing, is that away to Arsenal, 3 days later away to PSG, 3 days later home to Fulham, 3 days later away to Newcastle. So how can we find that perfect balance of energy, intensity, freshness, the right structure and relationship on the pitch? So that's where that's a nice coaching challenge. Let me put it that way. But anyway, Colo is ready.
Hi Thomas, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
5 months ago, when you got the job, I spoke to you, and you said to me the only certainty you can absolutely be certain of is that you will lose games, which you are now doing.
I promised that. I succeeded.
How do you keep calm then? You said that managers need to stay calm during these sort of times. You talk about on a slot. How do you keep calm?
Of course, I think, of course, trust my experience, trust my staff, trust my players, trust the club, the leadership. I think that's key. Trust the processes, the structure. I do. That just keep doing that, keep believing that, keep working. The power of one. So always one more conversation, one more video clip, one more meeting, one more training. Constantly try to improve bits. Know where you want to go, and then try to improve those bits and culture, style of play, everything, every single day. I think that's the key. Then there's days where you perform badly, you feel pain and you're angry. Yesterday it was painful in a different way because we lost, more irritation, but a better feeling because we competed. I saw more the identity of the team, character, the team I wanna build. Gave me hope. And then there's still irritation that we conceded 5 goals. We had an unbelievable opportunity to get something away from Paris, and we missed that. So that's irritation. And yeah, just keep going.
You said earlier you appreciated the need to win. Without trying to build up a headline, is Fulham at home must win?
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think the stats is not like there's 100% sure that we will win the game. That's the beauty of it. I'm very aware that a top performance and a win will be very, very helpful. But I go into every game believe we can win. I go into every game believe we have prepared well, and we will do a top performance. So what I can affect is that I need to make sure that we are well prepared. I need to make sure that we pick the best possible team with the best possible opportunity to win the game. And I need to make sure we are in the perfect state of mind and we come flying out. And then we need a little bit of margin. And then that should be enough to win the game.
Finally, personal opinion, I think Spurs have the best stadium in the country. It's magnificent, and I know you probably enjoy taking your Brentford team to play there. Is that part of the problem this season with the home form? Is that because you play in such an amazing stadium, people raise their game to play there against you because they want to show what they can do in such surroundings?
Well, I never thought about that. I must admit, I think the key thing for us is just to focus on us. What can we do? How is it we want to attack? How is it we want to defend? How is it we want to perform? Just only focus on that, and then get that cohesion with the fans, and then the rest will take care of itself. Thank you.
Thomas, hello. I just wonder, when are you going to get Kulusevski and Solanke back? Because arguably, they're walking to a lot of teams in the Premier League, and you've done this spell without them. And you talk about being judged after so many games. Is it almost unfair to judge you without these 2 players?
It's part of it. We get judged if we walk into a club like this. Fantastic club, Tottenham Hotspur. There will be expectations every day for every performance. The performance added together, so that's part of the game. So no problem with that. Of course, I would love to have Dominic and Kulusevski ready to play for us, but they are not available right now. Then other players need to step up. I need to find solutions, and that I will do.
Are you any closer to getting them back? I mean, are we talking weeks, or is it potentially January? Or
yeah, I think I can't remember. We have a few of these press conferences, but one of the last ones that I think is much easier for me to say now they're ready to be selected, instead of when are they back, when maybe. So I think right now, reality, they're not available.
And just in terms of, I just wondered how the players felt. Obviously, Sunday was really disappointing, and then last night was a lot more promising. But how do they feel about what happened on Sunday and what they've got to do against Fulham on Saturday?
For me, we look forward. We can't dwell too much on the past, because if you do that, that's why I say I have that 24-hour rule, and you're too much sucked into everything. So for me, it's still 24 hours into last night. So for me, it's about taking the positive out of the game with PSG, and there was a lot of positive in that game. Learn from the mistakes we made, and then bring all that to Saturday's game against Fulham. Thank you. Welcome.
George, please.
Hi Thomas. Obviously a lot of very good performances last night, Cullen Mwani being one. I think you said yourself last night he's not fully fit yet. How kind of excited are you for when he is fully fit, and what sort of difference can he make? Because it feels like his kind of link-up play and that combination play is something that will be really, really useful going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was exciting. I think you can just see the three. I suppose the link-up play, there was the pressure, that was everything last night. I think the exciting thing was around the first goal, the way the header, the vision he had to head it back towards goal to Richie. His goal, how quick he reacted and saw it, and his finishing there. And then the third one where he's got through, showed that little bit of pace. Got the ball with him, then just clinical in the finish. So now it's about doing that consistency every game. So that's the next step, but it was promising moves.
And Archie and Lucas were obviously brilliant. They've played a lot of games this season, but they've only started once together in midfield in the Premier League. Would you have any hesitation them two starting together in the Premier League, or they're not quite ready yet, or do you think they are ready?
I think if you perform like you did against the European champions away from home, I think you're ready to start in the Premier League.
So it's a no hesitation to play them against Fulham?
Absolutely no.
Yeah. And I guess finally from me, you conceded 5 goals last night, but you go over to the away fans and they're all there, they're all applauding you behind the team, which is obviously a contrast to Sunday. How much have you kind of learned this week, I guess, about the expectation of the Tottenham fans and how much they'll kind of give you in terms of leeway if you have that bravery and that attacking intent?
That I don't know. I massively respect all the fans. They're hugely important for us, home and away. I'm fully acknowledge and appreciate and very happy that how many that travel to Paris and how they back the team throughout the game. It means everything to me personally. And then it's just up to us to keep performing, keep being brave, keep doing all the right things, going forward, and constantly add layers.
Finish with Jack, please.
Hi, Thomas. The team looked set up in a slightly different way last night. Was that a very specific plan for PSG, or is that something we could see more often here?
I think that was what I would say. Let's say the general identity of the team. I liked a lot of the intensity and aggressivity in the pressure. I like the forwardness and the running forward, playing forward. I think we played 4 midfielders across the midfield 4. That could be for some games. It could also be different for some games. I think it's fair to say it's one game away to Paris and it's a different game home to Fulham.
Could you play like that more at home?
Everything is possible. But I think it depends on the opponent. It depends on the type of game. I think we need different types. I said that before. Being pragmatic is not have the same principles in all the phases, but maybe choose different types for different games.
What do you think of the theory that the reason that the home form is been struggling this season is because the team is not so good when they have to be proactive with the ball and take the initiative?
I think that is completely 2 different things. Of course, it's different to to press and have more open spaces to run into, and then to open an opponent where there's 11 players behind the ball. There's two different scenarios. Then they demand not two different kind of skill set, but some abilities do one, some abilities do something else. And I think the most difficult thing in the world in football is to break down an opponent that are low, and that is difficult. And there we have a lot to develop and improve, and then on that journey we need to find solutions that can create enough chances and win us enough games.
Okay, we'll end the broadcast section there.
I just want to ask about João Paulinho in terms of his former club is playing on Saturday and weekend. What's the importance of him for protecting against those long-range shots, which I know you're not a big fan of doing yourself or facing, basically? Does he have an important role to shield that?
No, I think in general, João been very good for us. I think he's been very competitive. I think he's been in games carrying the team, really helping to, as you say, both winning the duels and the second balls, and do a lot of regains in the team. Plus, he's also been quite dangerous going forward, scoring a few goals for us. So in general, that's important, both to shielding the long range shot, but that's not the only thing. That's not only him. That's the whole team that needs to do that.
He's on a season-long loan, isn't he?
Yeah.
So when do you start having conversations with your people above you, say, I want to sign him for next year, or a permanent deal? When does that come into? I know you're focusing on the next game.
Yeah, right now I'm only focusing on Fulham on Saturday, and we have just said we had playing with 2 or 3 days intervals, 4 games, so I have no thinking about a recruitment or January right now. But all things about bits like that, I can't see it be done before springtime with everything, because we are on a journey here. So yeah.
And if you decide to play Lucas and Archie, does someone like João's experience become just as invaluable because he has that experience to guide them?
Yeah, I think it's all, how the team complement each other. That can be experience, that can be different skill set, that can be different types. So part of that definitely is into my considerations.
And just finally, obviously as you tinker with the side, change tactically. Raven Vega was on the radio.
Who sorry?
Raven Vega, who used to play for Tottenham.
Yeah.
He was quite critical of yourself, saying you didn't feel like you were brave enough tactically to sort of implement that to be here. Whether you want to address that particularly, how do you deal with people are criticising you tactically or making suggestions as you try to, juggle all these matches in a very short amount of time? And you may not have seen this quite fresh.
I've 100% not seen it, because as I said before, I don't read anything. Of course, I said I'll continue saying that. Anthony will let me know if there's anything that is valuable for me to know. One thing for sure, when I walk into this club, I also knew, besides knew I would lose football matches, also knew I would be criticized. So I literally don't care what they say. I listen to the trusted people I have close to me and others. The only thing I would say is slightly more easy to be on the outside.
Matt.
Hi Thomas. Xavi didn't start against Chelsea or Arsenal, and he hasn't started any of the away matches in the Champions League. How has he sort of reacted to that? Because I guess there's a big money signing, those are the big games he wants to be starting.
Yeah. Xavi's been fine. I think it's as we've seen with other players coming into the Premier League for the first time from other leagues, it's not straightforward in any way. So I think it's completely natural part of the, how can you say development or adjustment to the league. So different games, different abilities. So yeah.
Is there something sort of you don't think he's ready for? Is it a fitness thing? Is it a tactical thing? What in those kind of games? What is it?
Yeah, I think in the end of the day, it's all about performance. And no matter if it's now you say Xavi, what about Wilson? What about Mo? What about whatever who didn't play Xiao? So it's different things. So what do you? And this is not about Xavi. This is in general. So this is about what do you give to the team for any specific game, and then on an offensive one, no matter what type of player you are. Do you give enough to the offensive part of the game? That means do you either play forward enough, do you create chances enough, do you produce crosses, or whatever the position is, fullback, midfielder, winger. The defensive side of the game, do you work hard enough? Do you win the duels? Do you get onto the ball? Can you press with intensity we want? And then there's the set pieces. Do you bring not to the defensive one or to the defensive one? All that's the reason why we select players, how they can perform. And then there's a little difference between playing Arsenal away and whatever, another team home or PSG away.
Like you said earlier, breaking sort of down the low blocks on the tougher things, but these are the kind of games where Xavi, you do sort of, he has the ability to set up and could be the kind of match he has, like Coleman had last night, a sort of breakout match. That's kind of what you want from him.
Yeah, definitely could. I think that's a combination of how do we break down opponents, how do we open them, where are we as a team, how do we create enough chances, because that's the thing we've been thinking about. How do we get enough goal scorers on the pitch? Yesterday I worked with 2 strikers, we are, as I said before, very aware that we are not the finished article at all, and before we are closer to what we want to be, maybe there's kind of a middle ground to go through to make sure we are arriving where we want to be.
Could he fit into this kind of system you played last night, or would it sort of need to be tweaked if he was on the side?
Yeah, I think the system last night is, I think it's the way we went man-man. You can go man-man in all systems. So we defended in let's say the 4-4-2. But if all of you have seen our games, we defended in the 4-4-2 more or less the whole season, except against Arsenal and PSG in the Europa League final. Whatever, Super Cup. So, of course, he could play to the left or he could play one of the 2 strikers. So it depends what types we need for the different games.
Ed.
Hi.
This time last year, everyone was praising your home record at Brentford.
Yeah.
Which was the best in the league. What was the secret behind that? And is it just a matter of winning games at home and building up the confidence and building that link with the crowd to get them behind you?
Yeah, I also think we scored the most goals, didn't we? At home. Yeah. I think we had 8 games with 4 more goals last season. Yeah, I also think it's fair to say that I was been a little bit. We if I can speak about Brentford there, it was. It's been a little bit on a journey together, and the team clicked at that time. I had a front 4 with Johan Wissa, Brandon Buemo, Kevin Schade, and Mikkel Damsgaard. The front 3 scored 50 goals between them, and Dams was unplayable at times. So they clicked, and that's what we are working very hard to find now, to make it click. So I'm not in doubt that will come. I hope we see signs of it on Saturday, how we want to do things. And then, as you say, the wins, the performance, the everything, bit by bit, it'll be more and more.
Comparing the 2 defeats you had this week, obviously against...
Say it again, sorry.
Comparing the 2 defeats you had this week, obviously against 2 really good teams, there's no doubt that you prefer to lose in the way that you lost against PSG rather than against Arsenal, I take it, because obviously you had a go against PSG, scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
Against Arsenal, you obviously sat back and got criticism for that.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be seen as a cautious manager at any time.
No, not at all. I think it's. I think everyone has seen my games over all the years I've been in charge. No matter if it was my under-8 team in Frederiksværk 30 years ago to now, or no, I want to play offensive, front-footed football. But probably also in those 30 years, they could pick games also on the 8 in Frederiksværk to Brøndby to Brentford where it didn't work for whatever reason. It didn't work Sunday against Arsenal. The plan was to be front-footed. We weren't. That we adjusted, and I agree with you. I think it's a very good question. it's a different kind. After Sunday, I was angry, painful, hurt. Yesterday, I was irritated, but the feeling in the body was better because we really, really, really competed. It was more the identity I want to show.
Finish with John, please.
Has being in the Champions League been more of a help or a hindrance to obviously not financially, but to building what you want to build? Because you get PSV straight after Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm. In that way, I'm more. It is what it is. I wouldn't be without it. I think it's part of the journey. It's part of what kind of club we want to be. We wanna play Champions League. We want to compete in Premier League. We want to compete in Champions League. That's the big aim. I think if you ask any coach in the world, they want a full week of preparation, or only 3 days or 2 days, they would say full week. But reality is, if you want to build a club and compete and play the big games, you're not going to get that. So that's fine. And until we are where we are, where we can really, really compete in both, then we just need to find a way.
Has it sped things up, or has it slowed things down slightly?
Say again?
Has it sped things up, the thrill of being back in the big style, or has it slowed things down because you can't get any, you have to keep changing the side, you have to keep changing the tactics,
Yeah.
again, continuity, and the ties plays out?
I would say, of course, you can see until you get the clear principle in consistent game after game, and it doesn't matter if you change 2, 3, 4 players, 5 players, then that of course makes a little bit more of a challenge, but a challenge we embrace. Also, you need to change players to keep a little bit of energy and freshness. You can see City changed 10 players in the midweek. Chelsea changed 5. It's you need to do that it's not for the next game, but if you want to also be fresh in February and March and April, where everything is going to be decided, but also need to perform now. So that's of course, a slightly challenge, but yeah, it's fine.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.